Okay, students, so this group we're going to be going over three problems on conic sections. So let's go ahead and take a look at question number one. So on question one, we have to find the equation of the graph. Okay, so this is a copy of the graph here. So we can clearly see that this is a hyperbola. So the question is, which of these equations match this graph? Okay, so first thing we're going to do, let us take a look at how many units we're going in all directions. Um, well, how about we graph the center first? Let's graph the center. So this right here are the coordinates of the center. So the center is basically 3 units to the left, 1, 2, 3, -3, and then we go up uh, 1, 2, 3, 4. So -3, comma 4. So in the equation, we're going to have the opposite of these. So we're going to have, now since the orientation of our parabola is hyperbola is side to side, that means that x is going to be positive and y will be negative. Okay, so we're going to have x, and then the opposite of that, plus 3, quantity square, minus, and then for the y, we're going to have y, the opposite of plus 4 is minus 4, quantity square. Okay? All right, so just by graphing that, we can clearly see that the answer is going to be option letter A. Just to make sure, for the denominators, basically, we're going side to side 3 units. So since we're going side to side 3, under the x, we're going to have 3 square. All right? And then since we're going up and down 2 units, under the y, we're going to have 2 square, and that equals 1. And if we simplify it, we're going to have x plus 3 quantity square over 9 minus y minus 4 square over 4 equals 1. And our final answer is going to be option letter A. Okay? So that's that. All right, let's take a look at question number 2. It says graph 4x squared plus y squared equals 36. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So for number 2, we have 4x squared plus y squared equals 36. Now to put it in a standard form, we cannot have any coefficients in front of the x squared or the y squared. So in order to, and then we also have to have this set equal to 1, all right? Remember the standard form for the equation of an ellipse is basically x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Okay? So we have two goals in mind. First of all, we want to get rid of this coefficient of the x squared, and we also want to make this a 1. Okay? So in order to accomplish that, if we divide both sides by 36, that will be sufficient. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to divide every single term by 36. Okay? So divide this term by 36, divide this by 36, and divide that by 36. All right? All right, so 4 goes into 36 9 times, so we have x squared over 9 plus y squared over 36 equals 1. Okay? Now, since there's no number next to the x, we can write it as x minus 0 squared over 9 plus y minus 0 squared over 36 equals 1. All right, so what does this information tell us about the ellipse? Well, it tells us that the center is 0, 0, and then the direction of axis, square root of 9 equals 3, and that's going to be side to side because it's under the x-axis. And then the square root of 36 is 6 up and down because that's under the y. Okay, so which graph has a center around 0, 0? Let's take a look at our options right here. Now we can clearly see that options C and D are not the answers because these are hyperbolas. This is a parabola because you have two squares, different denominators, and a plus. Okay, so that automatically qualifies this as an ellipse. So C and D are eliminated. We're looking at option A or B. If you notice, these two options have the centers and the origin. But let's look at the direction of the axis. Okay, so we're supposed to go side to side 3 units. That is option B. And then up and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can clearly see that the correct answer is option B because it matches the direction of our axis that we determined by taking the square root of the numbers under each variable square. Okay? All right. Now let's take a look at question number 3. All right, so question 3, it says find the center and radius of that conic right there. So let's go ahead and write it down for number 3. We have x squared plus y squared plus 2xy equals 2x minus 10y plus 10 equals 0. All right, now this is clearly a circle because you have two squares of plus and the coefficients are both identical for the square, so this is going to be a circle. All right, in order to find the center and the radius, we have to write this in standard form. This is a general form of the equation of a circle. So to do that, we're going to place the x's next to each other. So this x and this x, we have x squared plus 2x. And then the y's next to each other, y squared and 10y. So we have plus y squared minus 10y. This constant needs to be shifted to the right. It's neither x nor y, so subtract 10 from both sides. So we have this whole expression equals negative 10. All right, so what we're going to do now is partition the variables down the center into the x and y worlds. And then we're going to complete the square in their respective world. Okay, so there goes your partition. Now to complete the square in the x world, we need to do b over 2 square in the x world and also in the y world. So b in the x world is 2. Okay, so in order to complete the square, we need to divide this by 2, which is equal to 1, and then square it, and then get 1. So that completes the square in the x world. Okay, and then in the y world, we're going to go b of y is negative 10. Divide that by 2, we get negative 5, and when we square that, we get 25. All right, so that completes the square in the y world. All right, so let's go ahead and insert those values. So we're going to have x squared plus 2x plus 1, and then plus y squared minus 10y plus 25 equals, now we're going to negative 10, we're going to add these two numbers that we added on here to the right side. So we're going to have plus 1 plus 25. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and factor these. Now to factor these, all you do is you're going to, for the x world, you square the first and the last, and then bring down the middle sign. And then the same procedure in the x world too. But let's do the x in the y world too. Let's do the x world first. So if you square root x squared, you have x plus the square root of 1 is 1 square. Okay, plus. Now do the same thing in the y world. You square root the y squared and the 25. So you're going to have quantity y. Bring down the middle sign. Y minus 5 quantity squared. And then 10 minus, negative 10 plus 26, simply 16. Okay? All right, now this is the equation of a circle in standard form. Now the center, remember we have to take the opposite of the numbers next to each variable. It's going to be negative 1 for the x coordinate, and then positive 5 for the y coordinate. All right? And then for the radius, you take the square root of the last number. You don't just take the last number the way it is. You have to take the square root. Square root of 16 equals 4. So your final answer is going to be option letter D. All right? So there you have it. So thanks so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. You can feel free to subscribe to my channel by clicking up here. And please post a comment to let me know what you think about this clip. And you can also click like if you liked it. Now, more clips can be found on mathgosurf.com. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.